I am always amazed at what brings people to Russellville, Arkansas, because really our community has so much to offer, whether it's tourism, whether it's ballparks, tournaments, work. We continuously find ourselves a city that people look to be a part of. And today, I could not have thought of a better guest than Evie. She is the general manager for the Courtyard, which is our largest hotel in Russellville, and somebody who understands that dynamic of what continuously brings people to Russellville more than anyone. Evie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you have really such humble beginnings,
Mhm.
and I
Definitely.
we were actually kind of talking a little bit before the interview of when we first met, when you
Yeah.
interviewed for a position, and without a doubt showed your rock star skills from that very first time that we met.
Yeah.
But what was your journey like from that position to now being a general manager of, again, like I said, the largest hotel here in
I mean,
Russellville?
my journey professionally was starting out as a breakfast host.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best
At
job
the
ever,
Fairfield Inn.
right?
Yes, it was great. I actually loved it. I loved it. I really did. I loved it. And then from there, I went to the front desk and then operations manager and then the GM of Fairfield.
Yeah.
And then now I'm over at the Courtyard. So
It what point, did you kind of think to yourself like, what do I need to do to try to get to the next level? What was your motivation for continuously trying to climb that ladder?
really just making my family proud, you know. They're so proud of me. And that's
Oh,
all that matters. The kids, making sure that they're fed, of course, and then just making my family proud, showing them that I could do it.
because you absolutely have to have that like reason why.
Mhm.
What's going to get me to get up out of bed every day and do those
Absolutely. Yeah.
things, and that is such kind of a rewarding feeling to kind of knowing that you went from that to where you are today, and you got
And
to
I
be
just
proud of
yeah,
that, right?
I'm very proud of it, and I didn't walk in there thinking I'm gonna be the next GM of this property or the GM, but it was a goal, you know, it was. Especially when the Courtyard came around, I was like, "I wanna work there. I wanna run
Yeah.
that place." You know, and then look.
And from the
Prayer, man.
beginning,
It was a
yeah,
prayer. It was.
you really are kind of like this great leader. But what
Thank you.
what events through your experiences in the
Mhm.
past kind of shaped the leader that you are today?
Well, this is where you come in.
Oh no.
Yes, I told you I was gonna call you out. I'm gonna call
Oh
you out.
man.
So I mean, you really shaped me. You pushed my, my
Buttons.
you definitely pushed my buttons for sure. But no, you pushed me out of my comfort zone so many times. You know, you
Yeah.
really did, and I was so uncomfortable. But there were so many good things that came out of it. So it did kind of help me and mold me to be the person that I am, and to just, it's okay to get out of that comfort zone a little bit. And then pick and choose your battles. We always hear that, pick and choose your
That's
battles.
right.
But you're always like, Evie, you can't just win everything today. You gotta pick and choose what you're gonna fight. And that's so true. You have
Yeah.
to, or you're gonna go crazy. So
Man, and I think that's like really good advice because sometimes I know you're a mom and I'm a dad, and
mhm.
sometimes it's like, okay, let me let my child, as long as they brush their teeth, maybe I don't yell at them because their shorts don't match their shirt,
They have
you
one
know.
shoe on. Yeah.
Yeah, one shoe, or they don't get to school with any shoes, and
Yeah,
that's
right.
been a real thing.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about like picking and choosing your battles, what are some things that you come up with kind of like a daily routine that you're like, okay, I know this is a VIP thing, but
hmm
this is something that we can prolong or look at another
It's really
day.
just prioritizing. I mean, that's all you can do
Yeah.
because you know what? You were a hotel GM, how chaotic it can be
Right.
within the first 5 minutes of walking into the hotel. You don't even have your bag down, or not even to your office yet, and there's like 50 fires going on in the
Uh,
hotel.
it,
It's prioritizing, being like, you know what? Okay, Siri's my best friend.
yes.
I've got to set my alarms and reminders, or I'll forget. But really, it's prioritizing things. That's all you can do. Some things you can push off a couple days or a couple hours or whatever it is, but you just really gotta Gotta figure it out, you know?
Gosh, then that is so smart because you're probably when you're prioritizing things, let me take everything in, I'm gonna evaluate it,
Mhm.
and that's kind of a good lesson on how people can maintain everyday life,
Really?
right?
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
do you ever wonder with as many questions that get asked to you when you walk in and you're like, "What y'all do before I enter the
Right, how did you
door?
survive?
Like, what happened? Had you not have seen me, would this have been a big deal?"
Right, yeah.
Oh.
That's so funny because it's true.
Front desk, so you had mentioned about working in the front desk, and
Yep.
that is really, like, one of the funnest jobs that you can
It
ever
is
have.
fun interacting with guests. That's my favorite part
It
of working
is,
at a hotel,
right?
yes.
What do you find people are coming to Russellville for?
I mean, really, we have a lot of corporate travelers at our property,
Yeah,
the industrial part of Russellville is what they're coming to. We also see a lot of, ball teams and that type of stuff, or people coming in for the nature,
yeah.
yeah, that type of thing. But our property is mainly your corporate travelers is what we're seeing.
When people get to our town, what do you think surprises them? Because people think Russellville, Arkansas, we're an hour and a half from any airport. They have
Hmm.
to haul in here, and then they get here. What do you think they're excited to learn about when they
They
arrive?
are honestly just like taken aback at how beautiful Russellville is
Yeah,
and how nice everyone is and how clean. And because Russellville is pretty awesome. I mean, it
it
is.
is,
It's
right?
a beautiful town, great schools, great people, great churches, great community. And they're just like, oh, I didn't know this existed, you
Yeah.
know? And
And
people will come back and they'll come back just because their first impression. And then we have a great team at Courtyard,
and that's
and
what
that keeps
makes a
them coming
difference.
back too, right?
It does.
Yes,
It
it really does.
absolutely
Yeah.
does.
Hmm.
And I'm sure that you've kind of been a part of that culture to make people feel like they're not just walking into another hotel, like they're walking into
Yeah.
a place called home.
Hmm.
How do you set the atmosphere when you're trying to create a hospitality culture of people choosing to be there?
I mean, really just treating people like they're humans and being nice and being
Yeah.
kind. I mean, it's so simple to be nice to somebody. It's so easy
Yeah.
to be nice to somebody. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many times you walk into another hotel and they're just like, "Can I help you?" No, you put a smile on your face. Make them feel like they're at home, you know?
That's
You got to
right.
bring them back.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And people that are coming to the area, you kind of think about they look for you for guidance, right? Like they want you to
Yeah.
be the person to tell them what to see, what to do, where to
Mhm.
eat. What are some of your like fallback detours on telling people to visit while they're in town?
Food wise, Latina's food truck is the best food truck in
Okay,
Russellville.
where's Latina's
I
food truck?
think
I've
it's off
never
of
had it.
Knoxville. It's over there going towards the high school.
Okay.
And Janet's her name. She's amazing. She will
Yeah.
take good care of you. And then like places to go. I mean, it's not Russellville, but Mount Nebo.
Yeah.
You know, that's my go to. And then if they want to do something local, then of course Lake Dardanelle State Park. If they want to go for a walk, Bonadilla Trails, that type of thing.
And all the things.
Yeah.
And we are so lucky to have all of that stuff,
Hmm.
within like, well, obviously within our town, but even Nebo, that's
Yeah,
25,
we kind of
30
take it for
minutes away.
granted.
I
With it
know.
being here, we get so busy, but it is so beautiful. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Somebody who's always looking for what is next. What do you kind of see as like the future of Russellville?
I want to be optimistic. I know the casino is a touchy subject to some, but um, I don't know. I want to be optimistic that we're going to see some growth in Russellville. You're seeing all
Yeah.
these new businesses pop up
Sure.
everywhere. I don't want that to come to a halt. I don't want to keep taking our money to Conway. I want to
Yeah.
see some family friendly places. For our children, water park, different types of things for our kids would be awesome.
Oh
You know.
man, and that is so true because you hear all the time about people that may not know things to do that are local residents in our
Yeah.
area, and you see
Mhm.
other towns similar in our size that do have
Yeah.
some of those other amenities to offer.
Yeah.
And it would be great to have more of those kind of mainstream type activities, with like an
Yeah.
urban
Urban
air.
air, yes.
Yeah.
It's a little dangerous, but it's still
It
fun.
is dangerous, man. Those people fly through it. And there is nobody that watches those
There's
ring
not.
things. There'll be kids climbing on the top of the attractions, and I'm like,
There's people we've seen kids like taken out on stretchers there.
oh,
Yes, it's dangerous.
I don't even
Yet we
know.
still take our kids
I
there.
worry about everything all the time. I don't even know how you write a disclaimer to keep
Right?
people safe inside that place.
You have to sign something before you go in
Yeah.
there, I'm pretty sure.
So outdoor water park. Of course,
Yeah.
we've got the aquatic center, but it would be nice to have something
Some
like
extra, something like Clarksville has a nice little water
Clarksville
park.
has a great one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like something like that here. We need something like that here.
I think that would make Russellville feel more of like opportunity,
Mhm.
and may hopefully they don't take advantage of it if it ever does get built and not go to it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of some fun things to think about. So,
Mhm.
if you were to create the ultimate day in Russellville, what would that look like for you?
The ultimate day in Russellville. So Georgia and I are huge fans of Dreamy. Is it Dreamy Tea, the
Yeah,
boba place?
yeah,
We hit that up on the weekends. We love Dreamy Tea. Um, Probably going to TJ Maxx and Ross and doing a little shopping, and then going to the parks. We like to go to the local parks too.
oh,
Mine's family oriented. It's not just an Evie day. It's an Evie and the kids day all
yeah.
the time.
Well, you only
So I've got
get
to
so
include
much
them.
time, so you want to
Yeah,
bring them a part of it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna circle back to some things, okay?
Okay.
Because talking about how people can get to where they're trying to go, right? Tell me one of the things that you wish people would know if they find themselves in a journey and life may not be moving as fast for them as what they're ambitious enough to achieve.
I feel like all of us go through that part of life.
Yeah.
Um, I believe in Jesus. So, I mean, just trust him, trust his plan. Your prayers are heard. You know what I mean? They're heard. And even
Yeah.
though it's not on your timing, he's going to get there. I promise you. Because
Oh,
every one of my prayers have been answered. They are every day.
really?
Because there's back when I worked at Fairfield wanting to be a manager or something else besides a breakfast host. And it happened. And I prayed about all those positions and he delivered. So that's what
And
I will say is just, keep your faith in him.
you probably learned through that it probably wasn't on your timing, but on his
Oh,
timing, right?
absolutely. Yes.
Oh, so patience is another thing.
Patience. It's funny. I have this visual that, like, when we're praying,
Yeah.
that all of our prayers are going up there to, like, being filed away. And it's so, every so, they're pulling up. They're like, okay, we finally got to this pile of work. Let's go through this. Cause it's not, some of them are right then and there,
Yeah.
but those big ones, they take time.
Some of those get prioritized and get put into Siri like you
Yes,
do, and then
exactly.
come
Yes.
back at a later time.
Yes. Yes. We're like, okay, let's pull Evelyn's file right now. We're going to get to
Yeah.
this one.
What, so,
But
what is it like for talking about a little bit of like work life balance? Because you have a fantastic way to balance that. Obviously, your answers have been around like fun days or with the family and with the kids.
mhm.
So when we talk about hotels are demanding jobs,
Oh
like
Lord,
you're
yes, they
on
are.
call essentially 24/7,
24/7.
365.
Mhm.
And those days that you're not, you have to have a plan put into place to make sure that at least questions can be answered.
Yeah.
How do you balance, a high end position with maintaining a family life?
I mean, it's hard definitely working that. You know that. I
Yeah.
mean, getting called at 3 a.m. for God knows what.
Yeah.
Um, Really, I just accept it and I just try not to think about it. That's just what I signed up for. I knew that going in, and that's just part of my job.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's just something that I do. It may look graceful to you, but it's not as graceful as it looks. It's
Oh,
not. It's tough. It is
yeah.
tough. But I mean, what do you do?
Yeah. And luckily, some of the calls that come through are less of a priority than others. I'll never forget a call that I got
Oh
one
my
time as a
gosh.
GM,
Yes.
and it was kind of, they called me like back to back, like right in a row, and I answered it. I'm like, hey, is everything okay? It was Christmas Eve. And they were like, do you know where the Crayola crowns are?
Some of
And
them
you're,
are.
you're like,
Some of them are like that. Yeah.
yes.
So, they know to text me.
Yeah.
To text me.
That's
Like,
like a
because a
good
lot of
thing.
times it is something, and if you don't answer on the first ring, it gives them a little more time to think about what's going on and think how they can solve that problem. And normally they figure it out.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they figure it out. And if it's something major, of course
They're going to keep
they're
calling
gonna
and let you know
keep
it's out of their
calling.
realm.
And then I mean, it depends on what's going on, really. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of times they can figure it out. They you know, just need a little guidance. That's
Just
all.
need a little guidance and
Yeah.
somebody to bounce it off of.
Yes, exactly. Even
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve.
Even on Christmas Eve. And I know from you, from like the life-giving leadership that you've been able to lead people in the past, that I can just hear the response now tell me what you think we should do in this situation, or what were your first thoughts?
What do you mean?
How you would answer some of those questions. I can just hear your voice in my head now. Like, what do you think we should do in this
Oh, well, that's how
situation?
you did me.
Yes,
You did.
but you do it now
I
too.
do it now too. I do, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like it depends on how tired I am first and
Yeah. If it's
foremost.
3 a.m., they're
If it's
probably
3 a.m.,
gonna
I'm just
get
like,
it's in the
it's
drawer.
in the yes, actually,
Yeah.
just get to the point. Okay, bye. But no, I try to be as gentle as possible.
Yeah.
And depending on how long they've been there too,
Yeah.
maybe they just need a little bit more guidance or they need it kind of not spelled out for them, but just kind of shown just to give them that confidence. There were many times with you when you were my boss that I just needed a walkthrough because I wasn't thinking about what that how to solve that problem.
Sure.
And then it was like XYZ, easy peasy. And I was like, oh, okay. I just needed to hear it from you.
Oh, so what's next for you?
What's next for me? I mean, right now, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm happy where I am. I love managing that property. And just so you know, we are one of the top courtyards in the nation too, by the
Oh my
way. It's not
God.
just Russellville. We are in the top 10% of all courtyards in the nation. So, yeah.
And they don't like just put a badge on that. Like you just can't
No,
claim that title. That's
no.
off of tons
It's
of
3 years in a
metrics.
row, by the way. Yes.
So there needs to be a billboard of this.
Mhm.
At least a phone answering like,
Right.
hey, this top 10
Yeah.
courtyard percent
Right.
in the
They
world.
everybody needs to know. Sometimes I'll throw
Everybody
it in there
does.
when I'm talking to a guest. I'm like, not trying to toot my own horn, but this team here, they got
Yeah.
and it is from guest reviews. So it's from like your intent to recommend score, cleanliness, staff service, maintenance and upkeep. It's from everything and what that guest experienced. And so it's their input that gives us that score.
And you know what? People don't realize that's such hard to make that. So if you get there once, that's great. But you said 3
3 years.
years in
The
a
first year we were
row.
platinum, so it was the top 5%. In the
Wow.
past 2 years, it's been gold.
And so that's what makes it so
Yeah.
hard is maintaining that.
It
It's
is. But we got a great team. I mean, if you could meet everybody on that team, you would just be like in awe. Everybody plays such a crucial role,
yeah,
They do such a good job. So it's not one person, it's everybody there
it is.
that gets us to the spot that we're in.
That
So
makes a
yep.
team.
Yep.
But I mean, when you talk about tooting own horn, it has to do like something with having that collaborative effort through a team and creating that teamwork that can really
Hmm.
work and thrive together.
Yeah.
Man, that's something that not everybody can recreate as a manager or a leader in any
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
So, well, Evie, thank you so much for coming on and
You're
kind of
so
sharing what
welcome.
it's like to be in the hotel world.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.